and it was a significant impact to the side of the ship. And you can't see most of the damage. The damage is mostly underneath the waterline, and it's a large gash near the keel of the ship.
That's important. A large gash near the keel of the ship. Now, today's video, we are going to look at the ACX crystal, and based on some known observable distances, we're going to show that while the damage above the waterline, that we've all been very familiar with, probably was caused by the ACX crystal, more than likely the damage below the waterline was caused by a North Korean anti-ship missile. Now, that's a big statement, but we're going to show a couple other things here about what North Korea was doing at the time that probably will lead you to the same conclusion that I've reached. Now, the first thing that we were supposed to believe was this giant bulbous bow of the ACX crystal stuck way out, and it impacted the ship first, the Fitzgerald first, and then later the sideswiping action happened. Well, this is the ship, and this is right after the collision. As you can see, the damage. That bulbous bow, whatever you want to call it down there, doesn't stick way out in front of the actual bow of the ship. In fact, it's behind it a little bit, to be truthful. And here's the other thing. The Admiral described it as a large gash through two compartments. The machinery room was exposed, and yet we see some denting, but we don't see any paint removal. We don't see any large slashes or gashes that would have been the result of penetrating 3-inch thick rolled steel that is used below the waterline on warships. Ships that are designed to take torpedo hits and missile hits. This thing supposedly cut a hole in. And here's the thing, folks, we can look at some other pictures that show the ship right after the accident and its distances below the waterline. Now, here's a good one. Okay, and we can see, and this is right after the accident, as you can see the damage. Okay, now judging on the anchor here, which is a known distance, and this distance here, okay, we can see how much distance is here related to from the black to the waterline. And if we go back, we can see, and I've gotten my tape measure out and done all the measurements with known distances. These cargo containers over here, these are roughly 8 feet tall. And we can see some people here, human beings, are roughly 5 to 6 feet tall. This bow was only about, at the very most, down here at the leading edge, about 6, maybe 8 feet at the most below the waterline when the impact occurred, based on what we're looking at. Now, if we go to the damage here and the known distances, and I know this is at an angle, there is no way that bow of that container ship, that bulbous bow, whatever you want to call it, was anywhere near the keel of the Fitzgerald. And to give you a better idea, here's the USS Cole. Okay, and this hole is as the result of about 700 pounds of high explosives at point-blank range. Okay, and as you can see, here's a human being down here. We'll say 5 to 6 feet. We'll say, just to be conservative, we'll say perhaps 5 feet. And you can see the distance from the keel to this edge up here, to the railing. That's solid 40 feet. So there's no way that bulbous bow would have hit about right here. It wouldn't have hit down here at the keel. And what reinforces that for me is I was going through this list of North Korean missile tests. Now remember, this was what, June 17th of this year that this happened? June 17th, 18th, depending on which day. The day there or the day here. And if we go down to 2017, June 8, 2017, North Korea fired several missiles into the Sea of Japan. They are believed to be anti-ship missiles. The South Korean military said the launches show the reclusive regime's precise targeting capability. That's interesting. And one other thing I was reading about ships, and this comes from a guy who actually taught at the Naval Academy, and his name is Bill Campbell. This was answered last year on Quora. And I just want to cover this. But I'm pretty sure there are weapons in existence, certain kinds of torpedoes and missiles, that are capable of sinking even a U.S. Navy ship in a single hit. Mainly these weapons attack the keel, break it in half, and the ship goes down in 2 pieces. These weapons are very sophisticated and powerful, and actually require an equivalent naval power to even deploy. That's interesting, from someone who taught at the Naval Academy. So I don't know. Look at this damage. Could it have been that this was a 2-pronged attack? That a missile was fired at this ship and didn't take it down? And it was designed to go down as a result of a collision with a cargo ship, and neither one took it down? And that's the problem the Koreans are having right now? I mean, that would be the perfect cover. What would be better than a perfect cover for sinking a U.S. Navy warship with a missile than to have a cargo ship hit it almost simultaneously? Or shortly thereafter? I mean, surely you would think the combination of an anti-ship missile and the collision with the 29,000-ton cargo ship would have done it. But it just shows how much these ships are meant to take a punch. So I just don't think it adds up, folks. I just really don't. When you look at this and you look at the condition of this after, and plus they say it hit the keel, there's no way this hit the keel of that ship. If the water line was up here, maybe, but the water line was here on that ship after the accident, and we can show that in lots of different pictures. Here's one. Here you go. Look where the water line was. Look at the distance there. Measure the distance, the known distance of these containers. They're 8 feet tall. Even the high cubes are only 8.5. So, just more evidence, more stuff to pile on. So, like, share, subscribe. Thank you very, very much for all of the views and the likes. Really, really appreciate it. We will see you next time. Thank you.